could see the emotion in Karl Anthony Towns from the very first play. Karl, describe your emotions and your approach coming into this game.
Just came here to do my job. Do my job. This is what I'm supposed to do.
Will this season be the end of Karl Anthony for the Minnesota Timberwolves? The Timberwolves big man Karl Anthony Towns believes anything is possible amid a summer filled with rumors and speculation. Some NBA officials believe that the Minnesota Timberwolves, despite having a terrific season thus far, will cause a stir this offseason. Superstar Karl Anthony Towns may be traded in one of those transactions. What do you think? Will Karl Anthony be traded by the Timberwolves? Towns, Rudy Gobert, and Anthony Edwards make up the Timberwolves' already formidable core. Despite leading the group, Towns will earn the most money in the upcoming offseason. According to the story that Howard Beck of The Ringer got, an executive from the Eastern Conference expressed reservations about the Timberwolves' ability to retain Towns. This was mostly because of a potential contract for Edwards that would increase the team's annual payroll and possibly result in higher luxury tax payments. An executive from the Western Conference thought the deal was also imminent, maybe occurring this summer. Michael Scoto of Hoops Hype stated in November that Towns might stand out if Minnesota loses in the first round of the playoffs. He also noted that NBA officials generally agree that Towns' future suitor could be the New York Knicks. Towns' present yearly income of $36 million is manageable. Next season though, that salary will soar to $49.3 million, and Minnesota will have to consider whether to reduce wages in order to evade the luxury tax. In addition to his pay, Scoto contended that Towns is the most likely possibility since the Timberwolves won't receive an equivalent return for their other players if they decided to put them up for a trade. Towns is currently enjoying a fantastic season, averaging 22.5 points, 8.4 rebounds, and 2.9 assists per game. There is a section of the media and analysts who still believe that Karl Anthony is going to stay with the Timberwolves until the 27-28 season. What do you think about it? In the 2015 NBA draft, the Timberwolves selected the former Kentucky player Karl Anthony Towns with the first overall choice. Towns, the first overall choice in 2015, played 33.5 minutes per game last season and averaged 24.6 points, 9.8 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and 2.1 combined blocks and steals. The Memphis Grizzlies defeated the Timberwolves in a 6-game first-round series after he guided the team to the 7th seed in the playoffs. Since then, he's been connected to the team. In the 2022-23 season, the three-time All-Star averaged 20.8 points, 8.1 rebounds, and 4.8 assists per game. He assisted the Timberwolves in making it to the postseason, where they were defeated by the Denver Nuggets, the eventual champions. Towns is renowned for his inside scoring and shooting prowess. He attempted 5.73 points on average per game in 2022-23. Including 36.6% from long range, he shot 49.5% from the field. For the 2023-24 season, Karl Anthony Towns is expected to make $36 million. The three-time All-Star is in the last year of his contract. In 2018, he inked a 5-year, $158 million agreement. But Towns and the Timberwolves have also reached an agreement on a record-breaking $224 million contract that includes a player option for the 2027-28 campaign. Beginning with the 2024-25 season, the new contract will have growing incentives each season, leading up to the contract's final year, which will pay him $61.6 million. Meanwhile, there are updates on Karl's missing out the future games for Timberwolves. Although the NBA regular season 2023-24 is coming to an end, clubs are only now beginning to prepare for the final stretch of the playoff competition. Karl Anthony Towns of the Minnesota Timberwolves tore the meniscus in his left knee and will be sidelined indefinitely. According to those reports, Towns will undergo surgery to repair his meniscus and will be reassessed in a month. However, it's still unknown when exactly Towns will be able to resume his activities. April 14th is the last regular season game for the Wolves. According to the timeline, Towns should be able to play in the playoffs at some point, provided he recovers properly. On April 20th, the playoffs opening round will get underway. Why is everyone hailing Timberwolves' comeback as the best ever? With their 118-100 victory over the Los Angeles Clippers, the Minnesota Timberwolves created some NBA history. In a brief period of time in the second quarter, the Timberwolves were behind 22 points. Not only did they recover, but in the fourth quarter they had a 22-point advantage. Minnesota came back into the game down only 63-55 at the intermission after closing the first half on a 22 surge. They had a 40-point comeback the remainder of the game after trailing 57-35 with 5:07 remaining in the first half. Following the Timberwolves' victory to improve to 45-21 and move back within half a game of the top spot in the West, an amazing statistic went viral on social media. There have been 5,500 occasions in the regular season and playoffs when a road team has been behind by 22 points or more during the 2000-2001 NBA season. The Timberwolves are the first squad in NBA history to overturn the deficit and make a 22-point lead on their own. The Minnesota Timberwolves have performed well over the last 2 seasons while being managed by Tim Connolly. Will they be able to sustain it for the next season with their star players, even if Karl Anthony leaves the team? This team has made significant investments in NBA veterans who are hungry for victory right now and whose careers have amassed a wealth of knowledge and experience that not only improves their own performance but also helps them mentor younger players along the road. In order to achieve this goal, the Timberwolves keep adding extremely gifted but undeveloped players to their roster who will gain a lot from being trained by an NBA mentor. Some experts of the game are of the opinion that Wendell Moore is the future of the Minnesota Timberwolves. What do you think about it? Wendell Moore Jr., a 6'5", 215-pound wing out of Duke, was chosen by the Minnesota Timberwolves as the 26th overall choice in the 2022 NBA Draft. Wendell Moore Jr. is an obvious improvement for the Timberwolves defense, as was evident from his addition, which showed that the team's front management was keen to strengthen that position. In late November and early December 2023, he was given a chance to start a game, and he was able to contribute significantly on the defensive end of the basketball court. While scoring points will get young players their chance to play in the early rotations, playing defense is just as important as playing offense. Regretfully, his outside shooting was just not there yet, and he was benched while he focused on improving his offensive consistency in between playing more minutes as the cleanup player for the Timberwolves and a bigger role in their G League affiliate, the Iowa Wolves. When the Timberwolves need to slow down the opposition's perimeter shooters, Moore is a viable alternative, much like the more seasoned veteran wing Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Due to their short tenure in the league and lower winning percentage, the Minnesota Timberwolves may have one of the weakest histories in the entire NBA. Just like Karl Anthony, some of the players who played for Timberwolves have created a lot of influence in the team. Do you remember any of these players? NBA heavyweights declared Minnesota will enter the league in 1987. Although decades have gone since then, most teams enter the league somewhat sooner in prior seasons. The Timberwolves have a small number of names that have come to represent their team, although fewer than most teams. One problem for Minnesota is that most of their finest players have at some point decided to leave via trade or free agency. An actual human highlight reel is Zach LaVine. Because of his spectacular playing style, he became a fan favorite both inside and outside of Minnesota. He won the NBA Slam Dunk Contest twice in a row, was named NBA All-Star twice, and won the gold medal in the 2020 Summer Olympics. Despite spending just 3 seasons as a player for the Minnesota Timberwolves, he made a significant enough impression to merit a place on this list. Stephen Marbury is another extraordinary narrative of a Minnesota Timberwolves player with an exceptional background. With the future of the franchise centered around them, Minnesota selected Marbury with the intention of him becoming the second superstar behind Kevin Garnett. Do you think the Timberwolves will be able to outrun other teams with the help of Karl Anthony and win the title this season? Do share your thoughts in the comments section below. For more interesting stories and updates like this, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon for notifications. Until next time, goodbye.